It's funny. I was allowed to watch Transformers, but not GI Joe. But I guess because Transformers were robots. Nobody got killed in GI Joe though.
Yeah, it was kind of arbitrary, like because I remember there was other parents at the Kingdom Hall that didn't have a problem with Ninja Turtles, and my parents were like, "Oh hell no!"
Yeah, my dad sold mine at a garage sale. Speaking of garage sales, he got rid of them.
Oh no, I secretly loved Ninja Turtles. I remember there was a very liberal family in the congregation where their son had like the Ninja Turtle handheld video game, and I coveted it. I remember that he got to go see the Ninja Turtle movie, and I couldn't believe it because my Jehovah's Witness parents, they'd rather me be dead. Yes, yes. My Jehovah's Witness parents would rather me be dead, literally, than go sit at a Ninja Turtles movie. But other thing like you're talking about E.T., I got to see E.T. Whereas other Jehovah's Witnesses freaked out about E.T. And it was all very random. Like now I couldn't enjoy, like I can't enjoy Ninja Turtles because it wasn't my experience, and now I can't even like sit and enjoy something like Ninja Turtles now because all I'd be thinking of is my mother just shaking her head, you know, with furrowed brow, and it was all very roll of the dice.
Yeah, I think it was maybe personal taste of the parent, or they heard something from another parent and that influenced them.
Yeah, it was because I watched
gave a talk and he said, "Oh, this is bad," and so that set the tone for. But then
I think that's how the ET thing went down. Is ET, like everybody saw ET, and then in the late 80s, some circuit overseers started talking about how ET was mocking Christ and everything like that. And then it was over. And then everyone had to, their VHS of ET had to get destroyed. Remember there was some kids that got to wear like high top sneakers and hypercolor shirts, and then it was like, oh, well, that's the style of the world. That's the sign of the world, and it was very, very random. But
I remember this one girl. She had Air Jordan was big in the '90s, and she had Hair Jordan.
Hair Jordan, you told me about that. Had the Hair Jordan, and
her dad said it was a form of idolatry to wear that hat.
Take that Hair Jordan shirt off.
And it was weird because Who Framed Roger Rabbit was okay, and that had like a very sexually suggestive theme to it with the rabbit and Jessica Rabbit. Yet Captain Power was pure demons and
yeah.
People in the 80s had such a, I mean, that wasn't just limited to the JWs. I mean, that was a very popular view across the land, I think, too, with other people as well.
Yeah,
we're very superstitious, generally speaking, in the 80s compared to today, at least.
And all they had to do was open up that nice pill for those nice little bouncy.
Mm-hmm.
They'd feel better, and they wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
Super balls. It represented the ball pit at Burger King. Mandela Effect letters.
Many do not remember CDs being around as long as
No, I certainly don't.
Well, they weren't mainstream, but the technology has certainly been around since then.
Well, I remember Laserdisc in like 1985, but CDs, no. That was like a 1990 thing.
The media existed is the point. I mean, I'm just saying it wasn't mainstream.
You're right about that. But I do not remember them being prolific.
No, that's not the point. I mean, I'm just saying it's like people are saying they don't remember. I think that they're grasping it.
Well, VHS has been around since the 1940s, but what people are having a hard time with is going back now. They're acting like CDs were a thing in the early 80s.
The
Maybe
North Star was in a different
Japan they were, right? I mean, even now, Japan's still 10 years ahead of lots of things.
I love it.
Yes.
This is another example. They're saying that the North Star. I remember it being direction, but nobody
I can't remember
anymore. I mean, everyone's staring at their phones these days. So of course, when they look up, they're gonna be like, oh, "What is all that?"
Reaching.
Anyone know where it may have been originally? Ask the questions.
Yeah, those sailors who have been sailing for over thousands of years, I guess they would know, wouldn't they?
No, I'm not Catholic enough for this one. Many remember the 3 secrets of Fatima being different. Were the first and second not merged together? What's this in reference to? Tom, Magnus, you guys know?
Not familiar.
Well, I'm Catholic, so yes, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't make a call on this one.
Did the other secret not appear as a vision of hell? Well, we're not sure about that.
Many do not remember millions dying during the Spanish Inquisition.
Millions?
Because millions did not die during the Spanish Inquisition.
Exactly.
Not at all. Like what?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. What does that mean?
Curious here and Curious here is just they're pulling up.
What? No. What does that? What does that mean though? Does he mean like the plague, or
Spanish flu? Maybe I don't know. I mean,
wait. Hold on. What does this say?
Yeah.
Could you pause this?
Between
I want to see what he's talking about.
It's saying that the resulting of the Spanish Inquisition, of which about 3,000 to 5,000 people were executed. About 150,000 were prosecuted for various offenses, out of which 3,000 to 5,000 were offed.
Where's the millions?
Yeah. What's he getting that from?
That's what I'm saying. Many do not remember millions dying during the Spanish Inquisition. And it's like, okay, well, I'm one of those people that don't remember millions of people dying during the Spanish Inquisition because they didn't.
Okay, he may have been on NyQuil at this part. Or does he have another article he's going to follow up?
Not sure.
Okay, can we continue? Because I want to see what he's driving at here.
Nope, that's it.
That was it? Okay, I don't know what he means there.
He's on NyQuil. Many remember $10 bills not being more yellow than the other bills because they weren't. They used to be all green back in the day.
Yeah, they've changed. As far as the currency goes, it's been altered from year to year. Huh.
Remember Stonehenge not being white?
I remember it being white. What about you, Magnus?
Yeah, grayish white. I wouldn't say white.
You know.
Yeah, I'm not talking about toothpaste white, but I just mean, rockish white. That's not really white, is it?
It's going to depend on if it's being rained on. Well, what's the weather like? What are the atmosphere? What kind of light are you looking at these in? And are the rocks dry? Are they wet? I mean, it rains.
Although England is such a dry place, right?
Yeah. I mean, maybe if it dries.
What does he mean, like orange? Because no, I'm out on that. Or is he talking like brown?
Maybe dark. I mean, a lot of pictures of Stonehenge are at night too. I don't know.
I'm still gonna go with white, but that's just my experience from I may not be shifting from the same universe as other people.
This is clearly evidence of the Mandela effect in action, guys. Clearly. I mean, it's just I look at this and I'm like, yep, it's Stonehenge. I mean, I'm not thinking shit. They used to be white, didn't they? I'm just looking at this. I'm like, man, look at that. It's Stonehenge. I've seen it before in pictures. Never been there. But yeah, it's Stonehenge.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I don't know. He's reaching.
But well, it may be his experience, but it's not mine. I'm I'm in the white category.
Many remember only certain states having fireflies and certain states not having them.
Well, that is true. Like Alaska probably doesn't have fireflies. I don't know.
Oh, his butt's glowing. Yeah, I don't know about that. I didn't have them in Florida growing up. I don't remember them. They weren't in my hood. They seem now to be in different states and places. Well, you know, bugs get around. And here's the thing. They seem now... Okay. Hang on. Many remember only certain states having fireflies and certain states not having them. And then it shows the map, and it's like,
If
yeah,
you look at the map, certain states don't have.
them. It's like, okay, all right.
He may be on something a little bit. He's a good guy. I mean, sometimes he is on the money, but I think he is NyQuilin.
Yeah, he got into some purple drink or something.
He means well, though. Firebird fish. What?
Yes.
No.
Oh yes, I used to do saltwater aquariums. That was a big thing, and I don't think it was called something else, but
I've never heard of that.
Diane's bear heart glass frog. This is the see-through heart frog.
I've never heard of that.
Wait a minute.
What is a tardigrade?
Water bear. Oh, the water bears. Yeah, I know what those are.
I've never heard of a water bear.
A water bear. That sounds horrible.
Oh, that is horrible. No, that looks like something from Dune, Magnus, since you bring up Dune every day.
Looks like something that would live in someone's. It's like that's the type of parasite you get in your beard if you live in Croatia.
That looks like something from Beetlejuice. That looks like something that would be summoned by Beetlejuice.
I don't know. It's like many people don't remember. It's
no, I've never heard of that.
They're just like, ignorant to it. I don't know. There's plenty of animals and stuff out there. I've never. I wouldn't remember hearing it because I never heard of them in the first place.
That's an awful looking thing.
I'll have to ask Bianchi Roadshow about the bear hybrid. I
do know of the polar grizzly hybrid. I'm very familiar with that. I've watched a documentary about it.
The grizzly polar bear hybrid existing?
It's very rare. Very rare.
They're rare, but it's biologically possible that polar bears and grizzly bears.
And it does exist.
Yeah, they every once in a while they make sweet, sweet love, and they come up with these cute little nothings here.
Now, are they like mules or the liger or the taigun, and that can't reproduce?
That's a good question. I don't know. Oh,
don't touch it.
I remember It's Evil, Don't Touch It.
What is that?
From Time Bandits at the very end. Okay, is this an actual movie poster here?
You're seeing what I'm seeing. He gives us a little context to work off of sometimes.
Okay, if that's the movie poster, then that is the line that I remember. I remember It's Evil, Don't Touch It. And then they look at him and then they immediately touch it. And they blow up. Apparently some people remember it being transversed.
I've never seen it, so I don't know. However, guys, weird looking fingers. I just noticed that. Look at that. There's something going on with those fingers. They're very, they're extra long. Look at that. It's like a couple extra knuckles there or something. I don't know. That's just strange. I'm gonna have nightmares now.
Joel, it's probably best you don't see Time Bandits. That movie, it caused me so much grief.
In her. All right. So wait a minute. Hot and her. I don't know.
That's
It's getting hot. Okay, lyrics go. This is from award-winning artist, rap artist Nelly. Lyrics: It's getting hot in here, so hot, so take off all your clothes. I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off. It's getting hot in here.
He pronounces it
So take
her
off all
because
your
he's
clothes.
from Missouri.
I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off.
That is an that is a local dialect where there's a drawl, and
Doing it for the
that's the phonetic spelling of the way he talks.
moral oral.
Yeah, I think it'd be Orel, not Oral.
Yeah, it's Orel is a
Name.
That's an actual name, yeah.
Yeah, it's a name, and that is spelled with an E. Oral is a word that's spelled with an A, and they're not to be confused. So he's wrong on that.
Remember Oral Hershisher?
Yes,
Yeah.
fantastic pitcher, and he's a great booth commentator now.
Yeah.
What's now? This is what's interesting about Oral Hershiser. If you want to talk about the Mandela effect, is he looks younger now than he did 30 years ago. You explain that to me. He looked 45 years old.
Adrenochrome.
When he won the World Series. And now he looks maybe 39.
Maxwell, I don't know. I've always remembered as Maxwell. I don't remember as Maxwell. I remember Maxwell House Coffee, but not Maxwell.
I think this may be a natural jump that somebody does because Maxwell is something so common that when you look at it, instead of breaking it down phonetically, you just jump to what you expect it to be.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not. This doesn't get me. This doesn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. I'm still looking for something that does, though.
Well,
DISC assessment. DISC is a behavior assessment tool based on the DISC theory of psychologist William Walden Marston, which centers on 4 different behavioral traits: dominance, inducement, submission, and compliance.
What would the K be?
I guess DISC assessment. It's like K versus C.
Yeah, but what would the K stand for?
Exactly.
Because it stands for compliance.
Maybe in German or something. I don't know.
DISC.
Oh, okay. This is the thing, dude. It's just Biller is okay, and I know this because look, I'm a huge fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah,
I said it, and I'm just saying, Bel-Air. I've seen it spelled differently. People will just be lazy and they'll spell it.
Yeah, I think
that
that's another thing where it's just a common misspelling, but it's definitely with one L if you asked me. And so I think that is just a popularized misspelling.
Yeah, I'm not sorry.
I don't buy that one. I don't buy that one.
Canadian telephone company called Bell. And maybe he's thinking of that. Bell airtime. I don't know.
Yeah, Bell is a word. Bell with one L is a name.
Wedgwood. Josiah Wedgwood and Sons, commonly known as Wedgwood, is a fine china, porcelain, and luxury accessories company founded on 1 May 1759 by English potter and entrepreneur Josiah Wedgwood. I don't know. I've never heard.
Who would remember that from their childhood?
It happened in 1759. I don't know.
If it was founded that long ago, then it would have been spelled in Old English. Correct?
But this is a name, though. It does. Names don't abide by those rules.
Well, English transcript has changed over the centuries.
It changes every year. Yeah.
And so that may have been the old spelling of it. But my question is, who would remember that?
I don't know. I mean, China is really popular. Everyone's got China these days. It's something every household's got. So
All right.
I can see why people could get upset about this.
Upset people eating off their China plates.
Seatbelt, safety belt.
You've got to be kidding me.
This is clearly the Mandela Effect, guys. This is setting a shiver up my spine as we speak.
Safety belt sounds like something a Canadian would call it. Plug in my safety belt.
It's about time I plug in my safety belt.
No.
Get in my automatic vehicle and plug in my safety belt so that I may traverse the roads, drive safely at the destination.
I'm calling BS on this.
Nah, I don't buy that one.
All right. Okay. Now this is getting into my realm of expertise. The Ren and Stimpy show. Ren and Stimpy / versus the Ren and Stimpy show. It was always the Ren.
Of course it was. And people called it Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, it was just an abbreviation. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And also if you notice, Ren and Stimpy are the largest words in the title. So that's immediately what people are going to take away from it.
Now, our audience may not be hip to what we're talking about here. This Wikipedia here explains it very quickly. Ren, a psychotic chihuahua, and Stimpson J. Cat, a dim-witted Manx cat who goes by the nickname Stimpy, have a host of unusual adventures. And boy, how did they do! That was one of my favorite shows ever, and I like to credit it with my my formation of my awesome personality. And
no, I remember when that show blew up, and I was one of the first people that watched it, and I was like, "This is." Now you see stuff like this on TV every day, but at the time it was a big deal, and then it started coming on MTV, and I got to tell you, like, the first 5-6 episodes, I was like, I love this. And then after a while, I was like, I can't watch this. Towards the end there, it just got...
Look, here's the thing. I mean, all right. The final episode came out in 1995, right? So you're talking about, of course it's going to die out because it's coming up against things like VR Troopers and stuff like that. Okay, so obviously the Ren and Stimpy show can't really compete with.
No, the show blew up, but I got to be honest with you, it jumped the shark after season 1. After season 1, maybe no. Season 1 was mind blowing. After that, I was like, I'm done with it. And the SpongeBob thing is garbage.
Yeah.
I don't want the episode where Ren and Stimpy got space madness. That's when it jumped the shark for me. I said, can't watch this.
I'm just saying. VR Troopers was really good. And I'm that maybe that's why Ren and Stimpy died out, was because of the rise of VR Troopers, but maybe I'm wrong.
That could be Neil Patrick Harris's greatest cameo appearance.
Okay, here we go. Wayans. It's always been the Wayans. Damon Wayans. It's always been Damon Wayans.
He's just misspelling things that he doesn't know how to spell.
Yeah, it's like, hey, let's go through Wikipedia. And I'm really kind of, I'm wondering what to make my next Mandela Effect video. Screw it. I'm just going to put some misspellings. I'll put it towards the end of the video. Nobody will catch it. It's just going to be some filler.
No, I'm pretty sure it was always Damon.
Yeah.
Damien sounds like something from The Heretic or some 70s movie.
Come on.
Damien is the child.
Hans Christian Andersen.
No, come on.
Christians Andersen?
Hans Christian Andersen?
This guy has a learning disability.
I can't. No. I'm saying that out loud. It doesn't work for me. No.
A Danish author, although a prolific writer of plays, travelogues, novels, and poems, Andersen is best remembered for his fairy tales. His JW fairy tales. Hans Christian Andersen. I've never heard it as Hans Christians.
Who names their kid Christians? That's plural. No.
This is getting into the silly realm.
This is out of control. I'm going to write a very sternly worded email to Curious.
No, sometimes Mandela effects are very powerful, but I think this time he was on Robitussin.
Captain America Winter Soldier versus Captain America the Winter Soldier. So basically, it's like the not having a V.
Well, also that wasn't very long ago. That was just like a year ago. So, no, it was always the Winter Soldier. I remember because I anticipated this movie. I DVR'd this movie.
Yeah, I never saw it.
I remember it as
Guys.
I don't watch Avengers movies. They're the devil.
Okay.
No, I just don't do it. I don't mess.
All right.
Mm-mm. Except for when that one chick is on there. What's her name? In my last video, I asked if anyone noticed my channel name changed. Well, apparently many did notice a change. Not like you can't change your channel name. Come on. Okay. I remember it. Curiouser and curious. This is weird. I don't know. He's playing games with us now. He's just
Can we do one more?
He's playing games with us. One more?
Yeah.
Fine.
Go back to an old one.
Yeah, but I mean, this is lame. I don't like this when he's like showing like how, you know, because look, brand logos evolve over time, you know.
Well, all right.
The Intel logo is now different. It definitely, you know, the Intel logo has changed a couple of times. It's different from how it used to be.
Maybe you're right.
Versions of it.
It's supposed to say inside at the bottom.
Yeah, these ones with the letters are connecting. This is just a big waste of time.
Yeah, it doesn't really do anything for me.
All right. Hey, let's watch 80s commercials.
All right.
Go to 80s commercial vault.
Let's see here. Number 606. That's a good place to start.
When do you say LA? When I've got an afternoon of painting ahead of me, I say LA.
I think it needs 2 coats.
Nah.
When I gotta get really drunk and paint my place, I'm drinking LA.
You?
Bob. But I'll change it.
Whoa! What was that? Wait a minute. Hang on. Are they at a key party? What is this? What's happening here?
He's drinking beer.
This swingers commercial.
He's a severe alcoholic, apparently.
When do you say
LA?
afternoon of painting ahead of me, I say LA.
I think it needs 2 coats.
Nah.
He's painting and drinking beer.
Wait a minute. She's like, I think it needs 2 coats, and he's like, nah. I ain't doing 2 coats, lady. I'm drinking my beer, and that's it.
When do you say LA? When it's open house and I'm the host, I say LA.
Stu?
Bob. But I'll change
Hi.
From Anheuser-Busch, LA beer. Great taste
What?
of the alcohol. Sometimes it's the perfect thing.
Half the alcohol?
Beer didn't make it.
Boy, come on. Half the alcohol, and she's still like sloshed all over him. She still plays that whole, the whole I'm accidentally, like
He's dressed like Mr. Rogers, and he's drinking a bottle of beer at an open house.
From Anheuser-Busch, LA beer. Great taste with half the alcohol. Sometimes it's
the real alcoholic.
2%.
I'm having Mandela Effect because I don't remember this beer.
I don't either.
Have I got news for you? New Expert Eyes Mascara by Maybelline with the double brush system.
Ooh la la.
I put on mascara to darken and thicken my lashes. But
Ooh.
breakthrough.
I buy this
A
stuff by
second brush
the
that's dry,
case.
so I can feather and separate
great.
each lash perfectly and make my lashes just the way I like them.
Oh my!
Love the way your lashes will look. New
Oh!
I'm at my best with Maybelline.
He loves me because I'm wearing Maybelline.
I didn't know
Maybe it's Maybelline.
you do in 60
I remember this commercial.
even dedicated.
I loved this commercial because I loved the giant shoe.
These days, I turn to the Colonel for
Yes, I remember this. Yes.
That's a lot of fried chicken.
Oh wow, this was a blast from the past.
More?
Oh yes, I remember that shoe. Ooh, I'm gonna say that was 83 or 84.
Steve Bell, back before he murdered her. That was time.
Oh, the Sunday night movie. Yes, I remember that logo. Yes. Oh, this is fabulous.
We're here to talk about pain. From pro rodeo to pro football, it's a Super Bowl of injury.
Oh, I remember that narrator too.
Mending faster. David Hartman works out all the kinks in a fascinating special. The Future is Now, Tuesday night.
Oh, if only they knew.
She's gonna have the best. With 15 years experience.
Hey, it's Lando.
Healthcare network, right?
Poor man's Lando.
Charge for medical and dental checkups for me or for Hotshot here. I found value at Healthcare Network.
Wait a minute, hang on.
Charge for medical and dental.
All right. So the commercial starts with the guy just like smacking up against the wall, right?
Is this the prequel to Napoleon Dynamite?
There's so many things happening in this commercial. What are they trying to sneak in here on us? Okay, all right. It's the 80s. Okay, so we got the striped.
That's like Popeye.
I like that.
You got the Michael Jackson glove.
Yeah, he's an MJ fan, but also he's a Popeye fan.
This guy just takes a blow to the head on the plexiglass wall there, and then he bounces off. And he's like, "Wait a minute, there's a camera in my face. I'm going to talk about healthcare."
No charge for medical and
But also, he's a new wave music fan. You can tell by the sunglasses.
And then this medical care apparently doesn't. It's like I love. He looks over at his kid, and his kid's got like a mouthful of like horrible braces, and he's like, "Yep, I got healthcare." Oh shit!
I found value at Healthcare Network.
Get the black power sign at the end.
We need the convenience of Healthcare Network.
Healthcare Network.
What's with people giving their kids mushroom haircuts back then?
Families everywhere are looking for an exciting getaway this summer, and they're finding it by going back 100 years, back to Silver Dollar.
Oh, I wanted to go to Silver Dollar City so bad when I was little.
Challenge raging rapids with sudden
I never got to.
breathless until finally you enter
Where's Silver Dollar
the
City at?
cave. Hold on
Branson.
to discover the mystery.
It's not even that far away.
Marks.
I want to go.
Let's go, man. Let's get some
Alright,
LA beer. And let's go to Silver Salt Lake. Absolutely.
Oh, that's a great idea. You and me, let's do a weekend in Branson, man. We will shut that place down.
Let's buy a case of LA beer though.
And Rolaids.
Heartburn
And when they
Hey, so these guys, they're too busy building cars to have some heartburn, so that's why we get them out with the Rolaids.
can't stop.
I can't hear you because I...
Rolaids. Rolaids antacid medicine consumes 100%.
I remember this.
It's like a sponge that absorbs things, but
Yes,
it's 100%.
yes.
It's amazing. It's
I love watching that sequence they do where they put the Rolaids.
this sponge, it literally couldn't soak up anything without the Rolaids in there first.
Rolaids antacid medicine consumes
I love this sequence. So 80s.
100%.
So 80s.
With Rolaids,
You guys have those little robots where you threw them in the tub of water and
Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Those tiny, it comes in a little capsule and then you throw it in there and it turns into a dinosaur.
they grow really big.
Yep.
You're not supposed to eat those things, man.
Over in 10 seconds.
What is happening here? Oh, wait a minute. We go from a Rolaids antacid to, is this going to be a herpes commercial? What is this going to be here, Tom? Wait. Magnus, you ever seen this? What's this commercial?
Blistex.
Probably a Valtrex commercial.
Has something to do with mints or gum.
What's with all these girls kissing each other? I gotta watch this again. Hang on. Oh, it's the hair. It's the hair. It's not. They're not girls. I was confused. I'm sorry. Kind of wish it was though. Oh, it's toothpaste. Of course.
Close-up toothpaste. Another Mandela effect.
This commercial is great because it's basically saying, it's like, hey, if you get our toothpaste, you'll get a girlfriend or something.
Or if you're sexually active, close up. These people are sexually active.
I think like this commercial gets people's hopes up a little bit too much. It's got fluoride, yeah. I love this song.
The Pointer Sisters.
For fresh breath, whiter teeth, maximum fluoride protection. Choose close up.
stop.
Wait a minute. Okay, so what's this going to be? A bleach commercial? This guy's got a tool belt. He means business.
Mrs. Blair,
Why?
you wouldn't clean with sandpaper, would you?
Of course not. I scratched my face.
Right, but when you clean with scouring powder, you're probably using the same harsh, scratchy abrasives found in this sandpaper.
That's rough stuff.
That's why Soft Scrub is better. It's a liquid cleanser that cleans tough grease like a scouring powder, but because it has milder abrasives
Soft Scrub.
like one and leaves no sandy grit.
Great. I'm switching to Soft Scrub.
Soft Scrub cleans like a scouring.
It's like a scouring powder, but it doesn't scratch like one. You get it? It's like it doesn't scratch your kitchen. Okay? It's soft. It still scrubs, but it's soft.
Powder, but doesn't scratch like one.
Nissan Sentra owners
Oh, look at this guy getting sideways in his Nissan Sentra.
love to talk about
Soft Scrub sounds like a name of a cat.
Little Lyle Gibbons.
I'm Lyle Gibbons.
My name's Lily Gibbons. I'm a housewife.
Occupation housewife.
I like getting sideways in my Nissan Sentra with my children in it.
Hello, Lyle Gibbons here to tell you about the Nissan Sentra.
I like drinking LA beer and going out and driving my Sentra.
A 1985 Nissan Sentra, which is bright, perky, red, cute. And I love it.
The Nissan Sentra all
Robert
Conrad.
chauffeur.
Acorn
So
Wrath,
that's his alias, right? Conrath.
Wrath of Khan.
I got a traumatic
Conrad.
brain injury when I was
My butler, Robert Conrath.
is a very well engineered car.
Fetch me my slippers, Conrath.
My name is Carlton Thomas. I'm an executive VP in international trade. Whatever.
It's like somebody from Webster, right?
Carlton? What's the car? Carlton?
Looks like somebody that would be visiting Dan on the sitcom Webster. Somebody from his high school reunion.
I want to hear what he has to say, though. Like, this guy is really making me want to buy a 1982 Nissan Sentra. Hang on.
The Nissan Sentra all around is a very well engineered car.
And the car has exceeded everything that we expected out of it.
It exceeded all of his expectations. I just want to put that out there, guys. All right, so this is Peter Gould. He's a police officer.
We know it's because he has a mustache, right?
He's telling us how tall he is.
Look like somebody from the 80s that would pull over women with a siren that he put on top of his car, and then he'd brandish a badge.
He's going on about he starts off with how tall he is. So that's probably an indication he's a very insecure person. But you know what? Buying that Nissan Sentra, it just makes him feel like a complete man.
Mustache culture.
Oh yeah.
The car has exceeded everything.
A lot of mustaches.
I'm 6 feet tall, and small cars are sometimes a problem for me. The Sentra is a different story. It's big on the inside.
Sentra, America's most popular import.
Try and take it away from me.
The name is Nissan.
It's the season premiere of Monday Night Baseball.
Take it away from here.
Live at 8 Eastern tomorrow on ABC Sports.
No diet in the world will help you lose weight until you do one thing.
Okay, guys, we got to pay attention to this because this sounds like he's about to drop some truth bombs on us here. Holy shit, what could that be? Till we do this one thing.
Control your appetite.
Dexatrim.
Huge appetite.
Throw up after every meal.
Dexatrim curbed my hunger, and I lost weight.
The extra strength Dexatrim diet.
Just
plan.
take a pill.
Nailed it. I called it.
Look, no diet. Okay, you saw it there in black and white. No diet will work unless you do this one thing.
This was before the heroin diet of the 90s.
Control capsule without prescription.
I miss my Fen.
Dexatrim helps you eat less all day and lose weight.
It's like they're little pieces of. It's like here's a pill full of.
Yes, I also love that sequence from the 80s. I love it where they open the capsule and all the fun balls drop out. Tiny Super Bowl.
Exactly. It's like they're little foam balls falling out of there. It's like, you know,
Candy.
talk about those dinosaurs that expand.
And flavored gumballs. Millions of them.
This is made out of the same stuff that, like, you know, like magic sea monkeys and like the expanding dinosaurs.
When I was a little kid at the Kingdom Hall, I would just think of sequences like that and imagine that it was me getting the joy of pulling that thing open, watching all the fun balls go into the
I have some of that stuff right here.
ball pit.
All right, I think, you know, look, my suspicion is that this woman is like, you know, severely anorexic. I really don't think she's like gobbling down those Dexatrams. Maybe she is though. Maybe she just eats a lot of Dexatrim.
It's wasted on Dexatrim.
Made the difference for me. I ate less all day and lost weight.
Mixed it with purple drink.
She's already underweight, right? She's talking about how much weight she's losing. Dexatrim.
The difference for me. I ate less all day and lost weight.
Extra strength.
She looks
Dexatrim.
fantastic,
No
though.
appetite control capsule works harder to help you lose weight.
Funny, you can get a good night's sleep and still wake up with red, irritated eyes.
It's called being hungover.
Looks like another Visine morning, because Visine with tetrahydrozoline.
Remember in the 90s when there was a rumor that if you put Visine in someone's coffee, it would work as a laxative?
I thought that wasn't a rumor, and I thought that was actually true.
The Visine, it gets the red out.
I woke up drunk again.
That's in Cologne. Oh, yeah.
A man should have on
Get over here.
For rugged men.
Starting
For
Wednesday,
manly men that want to
relive all the
smell
glamour and
good.
passion.
That's an aftershave.
Powerful Carrington family when America's favorite show returns, Dynasty.
What a great show that was. I missed it.
The Shining. Tonight's ABC Sunday night movie.
I loved the ABC Sunday night movie. It was an event.
An ABC News Brief brought to you by Arid Extra
I
Dry.
remember this too. Peter Jennings.
Now,
Peter Jennings. Oh, it's not him.
Prime Minister Andreas Papandreou has claimed victory in today's national elections,
Oh, my name is Papa Andreu.
beating out conservative.
Papa Andrea's going to take your order.
The
I
European
love it when you call me Big Papa.
nations and banning the British from competition. In
Is this
all
for delivery or
European
takeout?
games. This in the wake of last week's bloody riot at that Italian-British soccer match.
Everyone
Oh,
died. Holy shit. Look at that. Oh, my God. That dude.
You
Like,
got
all these
knocked
people-
out.
Is that like people that got trampled or something? Like what? wow, look at that. Or maybe they're just taking a
Like
nap.
with brass knuckles, beat that guy down.
This in the wake of last week's bloody riot at that Italian-British soccer match. The death count has risen
People
above
die
90
over
from a series
soccer.
of tornadoes that Friday
Can you imagine that?
New York, Ohio,
Maybe the guy,
meanwhile, residents of dozens
maybe he was taking a nap.
This was back in the last days, though.
Chris Bury
This type of stuff happens.
In the bombed-out-looking towns,
And also the aftermath of a tornado. It's signs of the times for
together.
1980 Jehovah's Witness.
But I'm gonna stick with her. I'm not gonna give up. In Niles, Ohio, tornado victims
And live forever in paradise on earth.
Falls, where this church was demolished. The congregation was already making plans to.
Can't you imagine the Chinese girl crying in front of that building?
These are cleaning up the old-fashioned way, while the Red Cross is collecting food and clothing for the hundreds of homeless. National Guard troops protect against looting, and the governors of Ohio and Pennsylvania are asking for federal disaster aid. Chris Bury,
That looks like a JW woman.
Pennsylvania.
A majority of Americans favor President Reagan's new tax reform proposal, according to an ABC News poll taken late last week. Of those surveyed, 65% say the president's plan is okay with them. Now this.
Only Aloe Solid has new aloe essence scent.
Fights wetness, ordinary deodorant sticks can't.
And, a clean, fresh scent.
New Arid Solid aloe.
For when you're not feeling fresh.
The tobacco giant R.J. Reynolds Company has announced it is buying Nabisco brands, forming the nation's largest consumer products company. More on the Weekend Report.
Mr. Rick Pierce, Vice President of Monterey Jacks, formerly known as Jack in the Box.
People ask me why we changed our name from Jack in the Box to Monterey Jacks.
Monterey Jacks.
Wait a minute, Mandela Effect moment here. It is.
The other way around.
Oh.
Does that answer your question?
Jack in the Box is now Monterey Jacks.
Not really.
We taken fast food to a whole new place.
Monterey Jack was a character on Tailspin, the cartoon.
Pretty sure that commercial's just lying to us. That never happened. This is a Mandela.
Do you guys remember the cartoon character Monterey Jack?
He was all about the cheese.
Yes, loved it.
He could not control himself around cheese. He would uncontrollably gorge himself.
Float in the air.
Yes.
And he would do risky things to get the cheese. And even do unethical things.
He would murder people to get cheese.
Well, he would dive bomb. He would steal. He'd do all.
New place.
And then he had nothing to say for himself afterwards. He was like, well, I wanted the cheese. Okay. She's
on Robitussin.
She's on
life.
3 different kinds of drugs. You can just tell. All right.
With something that looks so funny.
Friggin' muffin.
Original #1, Thomas's.
You remember in the 80s when people actually would eat muffins? Like, who does that now?
I just love how happy this muffin makes this guy.
#1, Thomas's.
Who would waste their time eating a muffin now?
He gets right into that. English muffins, yum. I wonder how much money he made for that.
Like, if somebody handed me a muffin, if somebody handed me an English muffin, I'd be like, what am I supposed to do with this?
He probably made about $300.
Think he made $300 on this?
Yeah,
300.
I'm considering the era and what they got paid. I actually worked as an extra many years ago, and
really
for a day's work, they keep you there forever. So I was there for about maybe 15 hours. I got about $200 and something per day. That was back in early 2000s.
Did they let you keep the English muffins?
No, they didn't.
The nooks and crannies, though. Look at this sweater that she's wearing. That's awesome. I didn't know that Diana, Princess Diana, did English.
To me, I don't feel like English muffins are a suggestive sell. Either you want one or you don't. And if you're somebody that wants an English muffin, you already know it. And you're probably in England.
Can't wait to Thomas's English muffins.
Thomas's taste so mouth-watering good, people just can't wait to eat them.
Look, I go to the grocery store. There's only one type of English muffin. Is that?
Johnson and Rochelle tonight on.
They've got the market cornered. They didn't need to make that commercial.
Life to think things over. What good's a few minutes more going to do you now?
It's kind of a good point.
We'll
Detroit.
return after these messages.
Oh, snorks. That's another thing from the 80s that no one has time for anymore. Who would seriously stand around eating a popsicle?
Pop star, creamsicle pop star.
Michael Jackson is selling popsicles?
How he's doing the, what's that one with Tom Cruise?
Yeah, he's like a little Tom Cruise. What a wannabe. That kid ain't Tom Cruise. Got some hussy. Tom.
Who gets excited about this stuff anymore? I see. Man, I remember in the 80s, I would love to get a high. I mean, that was a rare thing to get a high C. I was like, oh, yeah. And now it's like, if somebody handed me a high C, I'd throw it out the window. You're like, what am I going to do with that? Get out of here. Red water.
New High C candy apple
His voice is changing.
real fruit juice with a full day's supply of vitamin C.
Was that Alyssa Milano? Joel.
I think it was. Yeah.
We're gonna go back here. Is that,
yeah, that's
Alyssa Milano.
New High C
New High C. It'll give you a deep voice.
candy apple cooler made with.
Yep, that's Alyssa.
By the way.
Yep, that's I saw way too much Who's the Boss to not recognize her. She was my first love, really.
I would have climbed Mount Everest for her.
Oh God, yes. Oh, the things I would have done.
Their supply of vitamin C, so cool, it's cool enough for me.
I would have shared my high C with her.
No. Phillips is another product that if you gave me one, I would throw it in the trash.
I remember getting them in my lunch.
Yeah, me too. And I'd be like, yeah, fruit roll-ups. And now I couldn't choke one down. That's just
It's plastic fruit, Tom. It's plastic fruit. Okay, so be happy with it. All right, kids in
I
China
cannot
don't get
even
plastic
imagine
fruit.
putting
Okay?
that in your mouth now.
African kids get to starve. They don't get plastic fruit, and you're just gonna throw it away. Listen to yourself, Tom.
I'm just saying, back in the 80s, it's changed so much now. Like, I remember kids would have that in their lunch. That would be a coveted item.
Except for today. I mean, okay, we would still have this today, except for now it's like gluten-free, sugar-free, organic.
No, I'm not talking about gluten. I'm just talking about it. That's just like eating an eraser or something. It was all psychological.
No wonder we all grew up to have cavities. We grew up in the 80s, man. And no wonder we had.
It was the power of suggestion. They were suggesting that tastes really good, and fruit roll-ups, it doesn't taste good, man. It never did. Think about it.
Very thin leather pounded with sugar.
That guy just bit his own finger off.
God. Took two to the chest.
Look at this. Watch. The kid literally bites his own finger off.
Hey, was that the guy from the Goonies?
Sean Astin? I don't think so.
It looked like him.
Even more fun in fruit.
No, Magnus. You're trying to pull a fast one.
Now there's markers included in fruit roll-ups that you can sniff.
Marker.
That's another thing. The prizes that I used to dream of getting out of boxes of cereals and fruit roll-ups are just trash. Like, if I had a marker now, I'd throw it across the room. Who needs it? I remember that intro.
With the Super Friends.
Love, love, love the Super Friends.
After these messages.
I remember that.
I remember that promo too. Oh, yes, I remember that pencil.
Oh, yeah. Well, Captain Crunch, this is back when he was kidnapped by the...
Yes, I remember when Captain Crunch went missing. Yes, this went on for like a year.
Oh, you know what? I remember this. And
Detective Kit.
I remember entering into that and getting like a Super Nintendo or something that I said I won. I forget what it was. There was a couple of times I did this.
I remember
every once in a while, like whenever they.
I remember this, and I remember how enthusiastic I was. Like, I've got to get that cereal, and it's like, no, but because you had to keep buying boxes of it. And I remember my mom went along with it like halfway, and then after a while, she's like, there's enough." She-Ra. I remember this commercial too. I remember this exact commercial.
This is just He-Man for girls. That's all.
She-Ra rocks.
New from Mattel.
Princess of Power. I love it.
It was unlocking.
Powered.
Ghosts of
Lies.
Sure to watch the all-new Scooby-Doo this fall on ABC. You'll love it.
Friday at 8:30, 7:30 Central, join Tony Danza and Mary Lou Retton for the Saturday Sneak Peek and Fun Fit Test.
Tony Danza and Mary Lou Retton. Hanna-Barbera logo. Everyone hated it.
McDonald in Dreamy Breakfast.
It's a good time to see Ronald's dream. Time for breakfast, Birdie.
Oh boy, hot
Here's some crap to eat.
After him, Birdie.
Whatever happened to Birdie?
Where do you think Chicken McNuggets come from?
It's a good time. Ronald's dreams at an end. It's a good time. Breakfast fun with a friend. It's a good time for the great day.
Heart attack.
Stay tuned for more of The Super Friends next. This is ABC.
Goldilocks
I
made
remember that promo too.
the Four Bears Water Park in Utica, Michigan. She'd flip over the big 50-foot water slide, and so will you. And those exciting bumper boats, the Can-Am miniature race cars, the big 56-acre lake with nifty paddle boats, white sandy beaches, private picnic area, or if you prefer, the Honey Bear restaurant. The Four Bears Water Park, Auburn Road between Ryan and DeQuinder in Utica.
When I was in the 80s, I would just dream about stuff like this.
The Four Bears.
Yeah, I remember going like, putt-putt and go-karting and stuff. That was pretty fun.
I remember dreaming about that stuff while I was setting at the assemblies.
Gleaming in the morning light, home of She-Ra shining bright, Crystal Castle.
You put it together. She was so separately. You can pretend.
Magic things shine everywhere, cause it has a secret power. Lifted high on
I love how. Why does she have a sword though? Like, who's she fighting?
Crystal Castle, Princess of Power.
Crystal Castle comes
He's fighting mean words, Joel.
new from the
No, this is just because, like, you know that her brothers didn't get the He-Man doll.
On a hot summer day, a snowman came out to play. To find out what made
Oh, that's
fun. It's skating along.
that's terrifying. Actually, look at that. I've never seen a snowman like that before.
So Ronald
Those
made
big
a
black
magic
eyes
place
freaking me out, man.
where snowmen could stay. I wouldn't want my little friend to melt away. We'll visit you in winter, and then we can play. It's a good
Why did we like Ronald McDonald so much when we were kids? Remember that? Did you ever go to like when Ronald McDonald visited the local McDonald's? You know, like the shows they used to put on.
It's turning up some big surprises.
No.
Our McDonald's had a giant Ronald statue that talked. You push the button. He talked. I thought he was great. I thought he was so cool.
French fries.
By the way, I loved the Droids cartoon.
Waiting just for you. It's the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Droids was great.
Traveling around the world.
We're coming in for a landing.
Join them for exotic adventures.
The Littles. I remember that.
Yeah, The Littles was a horrible show, actually.
Computers are coming your way.
You always said they were going to get squashed or something, but it never happened.
Let me try it.
Oh, look at that. It's a computer. It's hamster.
Hacker, I I thought joysticks are only for computer games.
A computer can get input through a joystick to write music or draw pictures, as well as play games.
Totally awesome.
But there are lots of other ways to tell computers what to do.
Like a mouse?
Right. It's an input device. The mouse is an easier way to move the cursor. You can use it to make pictures in some graphic programs, or move words around if you're using a word processor.
Neato.
Some computers have special screens that are sensitive to your touch. Choose an item from the list and touch your choice. The computers...
Is that why they call the list a menu?
That's not what you use computers for,
The
kid.
keyboard is the most often used input device, but there are lots of others, even the light pen. It lets you draw on the screen and add color.
I remember in the early 80s, I wanted a computer so bad.
I had a Commodore 64 back in the
I dreamed of getting a computer. Yes, in second grade, I got my TI 99 4A.
Nice.
I got a ColecoVision. It had the tapes, the cassette tapes.
Yes, legendary system. That is a legendary system, Magnus.
I used to explode the hamster in the microwave on Maniac Mansion on my Commodore 64. It was awesome. I'd be Sid, the punk rock guy, so I could do that.
I thought Alphabet cereal was so good.
Ronald McDonald in Way Out Desserts.
Why is he spying on his neighbors with the telescope?
Hey, he's spying on the Phobos.
Desserts are so cool and so neat. Even up here, they'll be a delicious treat.
The kids love them all.
Shakes, sundaes, and cones.
Ronald brought lots to share, and he found kids are the same everywhere.
I remember that move of eating the shake, using the straw as a spoon to eat the McDonald's shake.
Hi, this is Dick Clark. Be sure to cast a
Super Friends. That's their headquarters.
There's got to be some better like commercials. This is just.
Friday at 8:30, 7:30.
Let's see what else we got here. 80s commercials.
This is KTPI, Channel 2, St. Louis.
Oh, I remember this. For closed caption.
Oh, yeah, I know this song. Yes. That got you so pumped for the movie, no matter what it was. It didn't matter.
Man attempts to destroy his family. Although edited for television, it may not be suitable for young viewers. Parental discretion is advised.
Tonight, on the ABC Sunday night movie, Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, the ultimate exercise in terror.
That narrator, though.
Masterpiece of modern horror. The Shining. Next.
Here's Johnny.
I heard there were a lot of really messed up things that happened on that set. That would be worth an episode alone for Midwest.
My recital.
Yeah.
The white with the bleach for colors. Clorox 2 does more than clean colors. It gets white liquid bleach.
Clorox 2.
Why is this kid telling her mom
Clorox
how to do the laundry? I don't understand that.
I remember this commercial. I remember that sequence of the laser going around.
This really was.
Yes.
Born.
Clorox 2 All Fabric Bleach safely cleans colors. Gets white, liquid bleach white.
That laser swipe really impressed me in the 80s. And I remember that sheer energy commercial where everything lights up when she walks by.
It's been a while since I've seen a good pantyhose commercial.
I remember this exact commercial, and I was very impressed with the sequences here.
Some special springy fibers that massage and soothe your legs. Energy you can feel to put on the power day and night.
And how pantyhose used to come in those bullet shapes.
Pure energy pantyhose from legs.
I remember being at the grocery store and seeing they have the carton of those bullets.
For drinking orange juice, for that clean and sunny taste. Hey, orange is smart. For drinking orange juice, pure refreshment any place. Hey, orange is smart. For drinking to your body's content. The taste that only nature could invent.
100% pure from Florida.
Hey,
For putting vodka in it.
I remember that commercial too.
Wow, those people are hoarders.
You gotta sell the one you've outgrown. You gotta transfer the places unknown. Well, all you gotta do is pick up the phone. Put number one to work for you. People who get things done.
We find more first homes, move more people into bigger homes, and help more people on the move than any other real estate team.
Put number one to work for you.
I didn't know that Lando was a Century 21 agent. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Find America. Gonna take my own sweet time to find America. And everywhere I see people smiling back at me, so glad to be in America. So come take my hand and let's discover the love that we share, brother to brother.
Bring America home on Kodacolor VR films. Films as vibrant and as
My God, that is so dated.
I just want to be nice to people now when I'm like watching a commercial like this. I can't help it. It's the weirdest feeling. Don't run that kid over. Come on. There's your mushroom top haircut again.
Yeah. Is a revolutionary advancement in shaving from Gillette Research. The brush. Gillette announces Brush Plus, a shaving coat.
Brush Plus.
It's a brush, but it's got cream in it.
Only a brush can give you a concentrate with extra softeners and lubricants that are massaged deep into your beard for a shave that is superior. New Brush Plus from Gillette for a superior
He got paid
shave.
to shave and say one word.
Tuesday, the
You must pay. Three's a crowd. And there's lots of monkey business when Tommy Lasorda guests on an all-new Foul-Up. Then, Tony and Angela have a briefless encounter.
Tony saw Angela.
That is a legendary episode of Who's the Boss.
Reincarnated as
He was having himself such a conundrum there. He didn't know what to do about that.
Episode where Tony walked in on Angela getting out of the bathtub. Legendary.
The Shining. Tonight's ABC Sunday night movie will continue in a moment.
Tommy Lasorda guest starring on a sitcom.
There's something out there.
It's 30 years later and he looks the same. How is he still alive?
Jim Carrey?
There's nothing to fear in the world.
No.
When David Hartman welcomes you to his
Tommy Lasorda. He's still alive. How is that possible?
Her torment began as a nightmare. And only one man holds the secret to the eerie truth.
Talking about Mandela Effect, can you remember a time that Tommy Lasorda wasn't an old man? He's been old for 40 years.
Audrey Rose, Sunday night at 11 on Channel 2. This is KTPI, Channel 2, St. Louis.
And now we continue with The Shining.
You remember the 80s when channels could be identified by a digit?
Sparky, Buck, and Boom Boom. Light beer from Miller. Now, Booby, Buck, and Boom Boom like light because it's got a third less calories than the regular beer and it's less filling. While Corky and Sparky drink it for the great taste. So Boom Boom, Buck, and Booby.
Yeah, everybody drinks for the great taste.
Sparky and Corky, they all agree.
We're getting the band back together.
You bet, Boom Boom. Right, Buck? You got it, Corky. What about that, Sparky? You said it, Boom.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And
This is just chilling, having a bud all over again.
You can feel it in the wind. It's going to be a perfect day. And
Oh,
What tempo?
the
vehicle.
forward-thinking car with
Oh,
one-wheel
the
drive
tempo.
and precise
I miss
handling
these
and the
things.
shape that handles the wind
I would
as
totally
well
drive
as
one
it
if I could
handles
find
your
one.
family. In fact, Ford Tempo is so well thought out, it even makes getting to the picnic a picnic.
Look up in the sky.
Have you driven the best built American
Do you remember how like driving, like being a kid in the 80s, like the seat belts would always like burn the shit out of you and stuff. Like if you were like your car like in the middle of the day, you know, the sun's been on like the metal buckles and stuff.
Well, we're only waist belts in the back.
But the Sharp SF8200 Zoom copier.
No shoulder straps.
Enclosure, paper size, and it turns off.
Do you remember the 80s?
The Sharp
Being impressed by a copier, it was like a futuristic thing. Even though I had no reason to make copies, I was just obsessed with a copier. Use one.
Kibbles and bits, kibbles and bits. I really got me some kibbles and bits. Kibbles and bits.
Now, Baby's got his own special.
What a different time, man. What a different time.
Bits with hard, crunchy bits and tender, chewy bits with for Baby.
Kibbles and bits.
Wednesday. The case of the
Ball guy. Yes.
But it looks like they're gaining on the fall guy.
Yes. Legendary primetime television.
I made love to another man.
Join the world of the
I made
powerful
love to
Carrington
another
family,
man.
one of America's favorite.
I remember being in the 80s and not knowing what that meant. I don't know what that meant.
Tony carries a long-lost dad
Why did you leave us?
who trades a carefree life. for children.
By the way, that was Josh Brolin's dad in the commercial 10 seconds back.
James Brolin?
Yeah.
I wouldn't use any other styling mousse in my hair besides Freehold from L'Oreal. Why should I?
Why should you?
But they're just not the same.
No, they're not.
Freehold has a formula that nobody else has.
Okay.
And since Freehold gives me this much hold,
Yeah.
with this much fullness,
Yeah.
and this much shine,
Yeah.
I don't even mind if it costs more.
Oh, okay.
I'm worth it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Mousse from L'Oreal. Try extra sugar-free gum with NutraSweet.
Yeah, there's sugar in it because it's got NutraSweet in it, guys.
NutraSweet gives you extra refreshing flavor that
It doesn't cause
Remember
cancer.
that blue package to come in?
You guys remember that wallpaper that had scenery just like that? You could put it in your house in the 70s.
Yes.
It don't even promote toothache.
Get extra sugar-free gum.
Extra.
Down at the Dodgers on the season premiere of ABC's Monday Night Baseball tomorrow.
The Shining, starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, will continue in a moment.
A sports update brought to you by Federal Express. Now from ABC News in New York, Dick Schaff.
Good evening. The Los Angeles Lakers took a 2-1 lead over the Boston Celtics in the NBA Championship Series. James Worthy leading the Lakers attack with 29 points.
Lakers Celtics.
Jabbar
Legendary rivalry.
NBA career playoff scoring record. A funny thing happened at Yankee Stadium, a tantrum that didn't involve Billy Martin. Umpire Durwood Merrill and Seattle manager Chuck Cartier first threw words at each other, and then the umpire threw out the manager.
Get out of here.
In his turn, threw out first base.
Oh, that Mariners uniform. So dated.
Began throwing out helmets. Billy Martin wasn't amused. His team lost 7-6. New York's other team, the Mets, won in a duel
That
of
was out of
first-place
control.
teams, beating San Diego as Danny Heap contributed a home run, first ruled foul, then, after debate, ruled fair. The defending champions in the United States Football League, the Baltimore Stars, improved their playoff chances by beating Jacksonville.
Baltimore Stars.
Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Now this.
Federal Express schedules delivery by 10:30
This
a.m.
guy's on
when you're
cocaine.
ready
Look
to
at him.
take on the world.
Ed.
Not later in the day,
See?
after the world is taken on.
Nancy Lopez went into the final round of the Ladies PGA Championship.
Shaft.
He pulled away from the field with a brilliant closing round of 65, giving her second LPGA title by 8 strokes. On the men's tour in the Kemper Open, 25-year-old Bill Glasson scored his first victory by 1 stroke when he rolled in this 50-foot birdie putt on the final hole. John McEnroe advanced to the quarterfinals of the French Open, but Yannick Noah did not. The former champion was eliminated by his young fellow Frenchman, Henri Leconte, in 5 sets. More later on the ABC News.
Just wait till you meet the
Weekend
Williams
Report.
sisters.
Concerned mother? You better believe it. We spend time together. Right now, we're having a snack with vanilla wafers. They're Nabisco.
Vanilla wafers. Boy, that'll take you back to some 80s get-togethers.
That little
Just
girl
goodness, I can feel
is a
good about
grandmother right now.
Only the best for her.
Whatever happened to Nilla wafers?
Nabisco Nilla wafers. Simple goodness you can feel.
That's another thing that was so delicious in the 80s, and now you wouldn't even cross your mind.
During our
Wouldn't even waste your time with one.
This Emerson VHS front-loading unit with remote control is only $279.95.
Got a wire.
And with movie
Front loader.
you can own this recorder for only
$79.
$16.
That was like $2,000 back then.
Midwest's largest video chain with 60,000 movies available
Last Starfighter.
for video sale.
Oh yeah, man. The remote control was on a cord.
PVI, Channel 2, St. Louis.
A lot of tornado watch effects.
And now we continue with The Shining.
Listen to the symphony of features only Renault Alliance offers.
What's that?
Terminator.
I've never even heard of this car.
Oh, Renault? What is...
Only Renault Alliance gives you all this European technology with 550 plus, America's best small car protection, and 8.5, America's lowest.
That thing looks like a
financing.
death trap.
Prices start
I've never seen that car.
Renault.
Fruit of the Loom presents Brief Moments in
I think we're having some Mandela effects here, man.
earned.
I like that.
Then you'd I remember this commercial. I thought it was hilarious.
Not a lot of money, just a lot.
That ain't a lot of money.
I remember these guys in the suits. They even tried to bring them back in the 90s.
What a constitution!
Fruit of the Loom. Throughout history.
Back in the late 90s, they tried to revive the Fruit and the Loom guys. It bombed. People just didn't get it anymore.
Introducing the great new taste of Coca-Cola.
It goes really good with just about anything you put in it, if you know what I mean. Holy shit.
That sweater, though.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. This is Bill Cosby telling us what to drink. Oh, no.
The great new taste of Coca-Cola. The best tasting Coke in the history of ever. It's a Coke.
I wonder how many women he rapes. Like,
Coca-Cola with a new taste, a new sensation, a new explosion.
she's like,
New sensation, all right.
Try.
I don't. Just.
By the way, I thought New Coke was terrific.
I'm just glad that commercial's
A
over.
freshly painted wall doesn't tend to stay that way.
Wash your hands before. Oh.
But if you paint with Lucite wall paint, that darn transmission, Lucite's special formula helps keep dirt on the surface. When dirt doesn't penetrate, it's easy to wash off.
Red is pretty.
So to
Why
help
are you
keep
drawing on the
walls
wall?
freshly painted, despite the test of time and family, use Lucite, the paint that lasts and lasts.
40 years ago, man unleashed the power of the atom.
Oh,
a
yeah.
force so awesome it could transform the world.
Yeah.
So dangerous it could destroy life on Earth.
Yeah.
An unprecedented exploration of the most important issue facing mankind.
Huh?
The Fire Unleashed. Thursday on ABC.
I've seen this documentary. I remember it.
Really?
Yeah, they talk about how many times the Soviets or the USA could blow up the world over, and I think that the Soviets were something like 17 back then, and the USA was around there too.
We could do more than that if we wanted to. Come on.
Oh, now we could though.
Ooh, I remember these. I wanted these so bad.
Launching exciting new sonic rangers.
These
headsets are voice activated, so instead of fooling with on and off buttons, your hands are free for other things.
Turn me on the head. I read you.
New sonic rangers. For wherever the action takes you.
Because you're not like right next to your friend, and he's not going to hear you without those things
Sonic
on.
Rangers from Fisher Price. Batteries not
Okay,
included.
they would just eat batteries, man. Remember like how you'd like put a 9-volt in there, and like 10 minutes later it's dead.
Yep.
More hits like Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, now we're talking.
Sports hits like
Oh,
Mike
yeah.
Tyson's
This is right.
Mike
Nintendo has
Tyson's
the most
Punch Out.
video game hits.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Legend of Zelda,
Oh.
and more like Metroid.
Oh, yes.
And you can play them only on the Nintendo.
Every one of those games is beyond legendary.
Oh.
Talking about some of the most legendary games in history.
I just want to play with some power,
From
man.
Walt Disney Pictures, it's time for magic.
Look at what you did.
It's time for excitement.
Please wait. Get her.
It's time for Cinderella. Walt Disney's animated spectacular is back for the holiday.
What could be more than that?
And now is the time to see it.
We haven't a moment to lose.
Only at a theater near you.
That means I can go too.
Walt Disney's classic, Cinderella, rated G. Now playing at a theater near you.
Hi, it's me again. When you go to the ocean, it's good to take fruit roll-ups and fruit wrinkles. Fishes like to eat fruit wrinkles because their bites are
Fruit wrinkles too, and now it's baffling.
so stretchy.
Fish don't like to eat fruit roll-ups.
I
Don't do that.
They put
Oh,
lots
no.
of real food and fun in fruit roll-ups and fruit wrinkles, so I don't mind sharing, even if
Yes, I remember this commercial, and it just doesn't make sense now. The
Yeah.
concept.
Now back to He-Man and She-Ra. The Christmas special will be right back.
Remember the creepy old guys in Kingdom Hall that would always have lifesavers? Yeah.
Oh, do I?
Yeah.
I remember this commercial. So enticing to buy lifesavers, and now, when was the last time you ever saw anyone with lifesavers?
Here comes Fun on Wheels.
That's something that died. Oh, I remember this commercial too. I wanted one of these bad.
Controls, there ain't no place they can't go.
Yep, I remember this exact commercial.
Around the darndest places. Send them cannonballing off a cliff. Yeah.
I used to fantasize about driving one of these and making it do flips.
I wanted one of those Tyco hovercrafts.
Turbo hopper, it's a winner. Real turbo hoppers, only from Tyco RC.
I miss RC car commercials.
Challenges you with the ultimate video games. Games that'll
Yes, I remember this commercial.
Kid in Miracle World. And coming soon, Monopoly. Knockout
Yes.
Gangster Town.
Sega Master System. This was another thing I would just fantasize about.
Sega System. Sega. The challenge will always be there.
Terrific. Wow.
I missed the real Ghostbusters. That was such a good show.
Today at 4, they're coming at you. They're the real Ghostbusters.
Were you allowed to watch that, Tom?
No, but I did anyway when I could. Sometimes I remember, ironically, being at the assembly in the hotel room, and everyone else would be like at the pool or wherever at dinner or whatever. I would never go with my parents to dinner. I would want to stay in the hotel room so I could watch.
It's like a teddy bear, but it's got sunglasses. So the sunglasses come up and they can come back down, and they're really wild.
Yeah, I remember these creatures.
The
Buffalo.
Buffalumps.
They were very soft.
I want to see an American Gladiators commercial. Is this an American Gladiators commercial? I don't think it is. Uh-oh.
Laser tag.
Holy shit. Remember these?
Yep.
I always used to get one that didn't work.
This was another thing that I wanted to play, but I never could.
No.
Oh yeah, Visionaries.
Control destiny when spectral knights battle evil dark.
Must be a Canadian thing.
You remember the holograms on their chest?
Oh, I do. Yes, I remember this now. I just completely spaced on it. Yeah, it was like Bible guys with hologram. I remember there was like a guy with a beard.
There's a place called
Show never caught on. No one, even I didn't like it.
No.
to give to a young and
I remember this commercial with the bear sitting on the porch. Yes.
like old Santa would. Furskins, that is. That's right. They've come to Wendy's. Dudley Furskin and his country.
I remember in the 1980s, Wendy's being some new, strange off-brand.
Bring the young'uns too. Collect all four. You'll love them too.
It was like a strange Mama's Family McDonald's.
That is.
Was there chili ever like better than it was now? Do you think? Like back in the day?
Negative.
No, it's the same recipe.
Yeah. Evil Shadow Force.
He's mastering teleportation and dematerialization. Look out, Slim! Hey, that's top secret!
Now the secrets of magna-fucking power deploy online.
That's my polarizing death! Too late, Crowbar, but he'll be back. Starcom, the fight for freedom rages. You've got to
What
take
was
the
that
hill
all
before the
about?
enemy does. So you bring in the Super Glut. Time is important.
I think that was a ColecoVision video game.
This is awesome. It's like so you can have a Vietnam flashback when you're 10 years old.
I remember seeing Tycho, those Tycho Cubs.
Cavalry copter.
I wanted that, but my parents didn't buy it.
No, that would never happen in a million years.
Tycho was like another strange off-brand of Lego.
Five great building sets.
But I never got it.
Go.
But I wanted it.
Saturday night at 6, a boy learns what it's like to have a dolphin for a pet.
Free, I cut you loose.
I remember Flipper coming on in the 80s all the time, and it was so boring.
It was pretty much like the same show every time. Like the same episode.
Daily in the 80s.
I named him Flipper.
And this was unwatchable.
Saturday night for the movie station.
That is a show that will put you to sleep on a Sunday afternoon.
He-Man and She-Ra. A Christmas special will be right back.
He-Man and Shiva Christmas special. I want to watch that.
Oh, wisest wizard, I have a question.
I know.
This is fruit wheat cereal.
I know.
There's fruit in every
Cereal.
I know.
How did I get the fruit inside the wheat?
I don't know.
Get out of here. Bother me.
Every bite.
I'm busy.
Fruit wheat cereal.
Go away.
Part of this nutritious breakfast. There's fruit hidden in every bite.
I miss that. There's no more fruit hidden in every bite in these shredded wheats these days. You know that like I look for that. I don't find it.
That's like a Mandela effect. That seems like they're combining jelly donut with.
But it was amazing. It was so good. Why did they have to do it?
I do not remember that.
Really?
The commercials seem so familiar to me, though, but it's like they're taking things that I already know and putting them together.
Learn to find it. Soon as Mom and Dad show me how.
Toys R Us. You'll never outgrow us.
Oh, in 2018 we will. Uh-oh. It's like the Golden Girls, but they're dolls. Oh, look at that. They glow under a black light. You know what else glows under a black light? Just
John Cedar's entire house.
I was thinking about Croatia for a second there, yeah.
Kellogg's cornflakes is part of this nutritious breakfast.
Hi, Peter. Peter, what are you doing? Peter, Kellogg's cornflakes.
I remember even in the 80s, even cornflakes was like something I was like, yeah, cornflakes. And now, if you handed me a box of cornflakes, I would be so unmotivated. It's worthless to me.
Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. And they're yours free in specially marked boxes of
Power, that's the demonic one.
Do you remember the specially marked boxes?
Oh, yeah. Captain Power.
I'll be right back.
That just seems vaguely familiar to me.
Remember
I had a set of these. These were so awesome.
And it shot back and knocked the little guy out of the plane.
Oh my god, I miss my constructs, my constructs, whatever they're. I had these. At least like a partial set. I didn't have like the ones like glow. Like that's kind of fancy. I didn't have those, but
New laser demon with lights. You build, you shine. Your light years ahead.
Demonic narrator.
Strux.
Old-fashioned Levi's are totally cool. Most people don't tie their high tops. I guess it's just my end.
I don't understand what this commercial's for.
I like them faded.
I remember seeing it, and I don't remember what it was for.
Tough, neat, cool, rad.
Oh.
It's Levi's. Yes, I remember seeing that.
Fortress Maximus.
It's Fortress Maximus. The colossal hidden robot city.
Transform Fortress Maximus.
I remember this commercial also. I wanted this thing. I never got it.
Teratons form abominous and destroy Fortress Maximus.
But Fortress Maximus transforms again, this time into a robot so humongous a separate robot becomes its head.
It's like 2 robots in 1, but it's actually 8, so they're all sold separately for $49.99.
I remember like in like 1989 and 90 seeing broken ones at garage sales.
Not everyone celebrates Christmas.
That's why
but the
that
spirit of the Christmas
haircut.
season is within us all.
Oh, that explains it. I get it now.
And presents.
Presents are nice, Orko, but Christmas means much more than that.
I know, Adam. Christmas is a time of peace and caring and happiness.
That's right, Orko. And what would make you happiest this Christmas?
Presents.
Oh, Orko.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know, there's action and
About
excitement
that.
each Sunday morning at 8
That's
o'clock.
pretty vague.
with The Visionaries. Coming up next, the Bennett family fights for rights when they...
100 from Atari.
Yes, the fun is back. I remember that commercial.
The fun is back. Oh, yeah.
I had this Atari.
100 from Atari. It's the video system.
That was my pride and joy in the 80s.
To cause that roar. A real hit choice.
I had all these games.
Dolores is hot and Midnight Magic's mean.
I can't even tell you how I crushed it.
Under $50.
That's exactly how much it cost, $50. Now I could get my parents to get me one.
Yes, three.
No wonder the fun was back.
100 from Atari.
Less than $50. That's a good deal.
Marshmallow crispy.
Oh, I remember this commercial.
Wow.
Fruity marshmallow crispies, orange, lemon, raspberry, grape, it's snap,
I
crack.
remember this commercial too.
I never ate this stuff. I just
I
remember
never did either. I just remember that Elton John dance they were doing there.
it's packed with vitamins and sugar, but it's got vitamins in it and sugar.
The real Ghostbusters will return after these messages.
Oh hell yeah!
I remember that promo.
Remember playing Monopoly?
Who would sit and play Monopoly now? That's another thing from the 80s that no one would wait.
They all took like 4 hours to, and you would just, the games would all end with like people getting pissed off at each other. People like turn the board over.
Playing Monopoly now is hipsters being ironic.
You boys catch on fast.
Tom, did you ever play a game of Monopoly where somebody just didn't get pissed off and just like, toss the board across the room?
There's no Monopoly is a miserable slog of a game, and it never. This is the guy from Police Academy that talks in all the different voices.
Again?
Is he still alive?
It may be a Mandela effect. I'm wanting to say that he's dead.
But he's still around.
No, I think he is still around. The guy that wore the aviator glasses is dead.
Victor looked down at his reflection.
He died in the 80s.
When he saw himself in the pond, with its surrounding banks,
What's his
he did
commercial
not
for?
see an ugly duckling
Hear
standing.
everybody's favorite fairy tale
He saw beautiful
from everybody's
I
favorite.
remember this.
Oh no. No.
Talking Mother Goose. Yes, I remember this.
They're demonic. They say all sorts of things they're not supposed
Yes, 80s Jehovah's Witness demonic.
Oh,
Demonic Toys.
Twister is like one of those things. It's like no, it's not good. Twister's not good.
In the 80s, Jehovah's enemy, Satan and his demons, the primary force they used was movies, cartoons, and toys.
And Twister. I wanted to play Twister so bad when I was a kid for some reason. It just looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's another thing that nobody would touch with a stick these days. And back in the 80s, it was like, Twister! Oh, that's what cool people play. And now, if you even suggested playing Twister, the person would walk out of your house.
The flight crew of the 747 and all the Miss Universe contestants. Wow, 2 scoops full of. There's still no brains for an entire Navy frogman unit.
This is another 80s thing where nobody would waste this kind of time on making a commercial like that.
Part of this complete breakfast.
You remember that old Raisin Bran box with the sun and the 2 scoops of raisins?
That's something I've eaten a ton of, though. I used to eat a ton of the 2 scoops. I got more than 2 scoops, man.
Yeah, I really thought that Raisin and Bran cereal was great. Now, if somebody gave me a bowl of Raisin Bran, I'd be like, what am I supposed to do with this? Give it to a dog?
You should get a Teddy Ruxpin doll. Seriously.
The talking one, yeah.
Let's teach him to say things.
George Jetson is back.
His boss was like nonstop drunk, though, wasn't he? That's the only thing that accounts for like how abusive he was.
I don't believe we met.
And familiar faces.
Sorry, George.
This is really happening.
The new season of The Jetsons.
I didn't think it was humanly possible.
The Jetsons, weekday mornings at 7:30 on TV 44.
That's right, Tim.
The Jetsons was one of those shows I was never clear on when it began or when it ended. I mean, the production of the show. If you told me that the Jetsons cartoon began in the 60s, I could believe it. And if you told me it was a 90s thing, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure it was 80s.
Yeah, I was never clear on where the genesis of the Jetsons. I know it was from the Flintstones, but I was never clear on the Flintstones, like when.
Flintstones were definitely the 60s.
Yeah, it was, but for me, it was an 80s thing.
This kid's so cool.
I remember Zach the Lego Maniac. I remember that because I wanted to be a Lego Maniac.
He's a Lego maniac.
I remember this song. Yes.
And guess what? Jetson started in 1962.
Wow. And they were still making new episodes in the late 80s.
Something new.
Can I have my special cup?
They talk to you,
Whoa. That's neat.
and you never know what they'll say next.
Wow.
I bet.
Bouncing up and down.
They even love singing together.
Let's sing.
New Cabbage Patch talking kids. They talk to each other. Each
Oh my God, Joel.
How about a garbage pail version?
That was Will Smith's cousin from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Think of all the fun we can do together, just be true, me and you. You know, we can play dress up, like cook together, and play games together, even read together.
I don't like how its eyes look.
Together, just be true, me and you. I'll be talking to you.
The Bionic
Oh, man.
6.
I love the Bionic 6.
A family with unbelievable powers.
Tom, do you remember the Bionic 6?
This is vaguely familiar to me.
Serious?
I'm kind of remembering this commercial, but not watching the show.
It was like a family. Like they were all like a family, but like half of them were like black and Asian. So I couldn't really put that together. But they were like related to each other or something, if I remember correct. And then they were like bionic too. And then they like
combination of the Bionic Man and the Fantastic Four.
I have an action figure, one of them, right in this room here somewhere.
Only you, Magnus. Only you. He's not joking. He's going to get it.
Except he's missing some of his limbs. He's missing an arm and a leg.
Then you still have it around, though.
Don't ask why.
Guys, I'm gonna have to jump off. You can keep this rolling if you want.
Turtle's farm machinery is so realistic, it'll...
We can pick this up where we left off, Joel.
The Turtle Mighty Movers are so realistic...
Oh, Hurdle. I remember this, too. It's okay, Joel. We can pick up next time.
Oh, man, look at that.
They'll really lift your imagination.
The toys in the 80s were so good, though.
Just like the real thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she said.
Kid, if you were from outer space, what would you look like? I'd be orange, ugly, and have 2 heads. Run, Sue! We better power up with the Cheerios breakfast.
Cheerios, another thing.
We're being chased by friggin' aliens. Let's eat some Cheerios.
If you gave me a bowl of Cheerios and a plate of toast and a tall glass of milk, I would just walk away from the table. I'd be like, who cares? It's not that I'd hate it or something. I'd just be like, what am I supposed I'm just supposed to sit here and eat that?
The Bionic 6 will be back after these messages.
Yeah.
Kellogg's
Rice Krispies. It's like another thing. It's like, why would I waste my time? Oh, it makes noise. You remember that in the 80s? That was the big selling point of it. It's like, it makes noise.
What did yours tell you?
Rice Krispies. Have you heard how good they are? A Rice Krispies jokes machine can make you a comedian.
Why does the cow wear a belt? Because his arms don't work.
That's a young Fred Savage.
I want to go back to the 80s and end that. I want to prevent that from happening.
That was Fred Savage, the actor, before he got rich.
Yeah.
Before, what was that? The Wizard, that movie that made him big.
Legendary movie. I saw it in the theater. I saw The Wizard in the theater.
Yeah.
You know what the very first movie I ever saw in the theater was? Big. Followed by Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
I saw both of those movies. You will not believe what the first movie I saw in a theater was.
What, Tom?
The greatest movie ever made.
What's that?
You're not gonna believe this. One of my very earliest memories is seeing Empire Strikes Back in the theater.
Oh.
And I was little. I'm talking like 3 years old.
I think the first one I remember was E.T. I was about 6.
It's fun.
I'm sure I saw one before that. I just don't remember.
Yeah, and that wasn't the first TV or movie that I had seen at that young age, but it was so it was so high impact that I remember
Before at PJ Montgomery's, chauffeured limousine from Nave's Limousine.
when the Imperial droid hit the snow and then came out. That's one of my earliest memories.
Dollars plus toll, if any.
I was freaking out.
I actually wasn't allowed to watch Star Wars until I was 10, and then I was allowed to watch all of them for some reason.
I don't know what circumstance I was in the theater, but our whole family was there. I do remember that.
Just like a real baby growing up. Baby grows even as C-section.
It's just like a real baby. I mean, it's made out of plastic and stuff, but it's pretty much like a real baby. That thing's got fantastic hair for a baby.
And now, back to the Bionic 6. The Bionic 6 will be back after these messages.
Okay, where are those ghosts?
I remember having real Ghostbusters. My friends lived across the street. They had the whole set. They had the proton packs, the little traps and everything.
Oh man, I love that stuff. And it was the same way too, that it was neighbor kids that had all the gear, all the everything, and that I was the Jehovah's Witness kid that was from the outside looking in. And so I think I have a greater appreciation for these things because I admire them from afar. I did, however, have one of these. And if you want to talk about a miserable experience, try bouncing around on one of those when it's half deflated. And trying to convince yourself that you're jumping higher than you could be just yeah. That probably took away about half of your jumping ability.
Remember how hard you had to squeeze that friggin' ball?
Yeah, and it was so heavy that you got about 4 inches off the ground. I mean, you could do the same thing with a box of groceries. You could just put it between your legs and jump up and down and do the same effect.
I think we ended up using it as a frisbee because it was just impossible to use it as any other reason.
It was cumbersome.
The Bionic 6 will be back after these messages.
They're here. Zero gravity cliffhanger.
Hell yeah.
Upside down. Plummeting.
Yes, I remember this.
Did you ever have a car track when you were a kid?
Yep.
It was a garage sale thing. Most of the things I got were like 3 years after the fact, and it would be garage sale. But the thing about 1980s garage sales, they always had toys, and the toys were like 25 cents. They were cheap. That's how I got my huge Atari collection. I got a box of Atari games. There was probably between 60 and 80 cartridges in there. And then I had that Atari system that was on here. But I had like Space Invaders and all the 70s Atari games, except I was playing them in the 80s. And those cartridges were probably like a penny each.
Now the best thing on TV is me. Video art.
Wow. I wonder how much people used to pay for that. Oh my God.
Have you noticed that Cricket and Growing Up and all these dolls all look the same? Like every other commercial is a doll commercial, but they all, I mean, it looks like the same doll, just with a different name. Or maybe it's a Mandela effect happening.
Probably. On that, I'm going to jump off. Guys, it's been fun. Yeah, I got a busy weekend this weekend. Guys, thanks for being along with us for this Friday night.
Hey, man. Let's do it again.
Yeah, man.
She said.
Oh, man. G.I. Joe. I just so badly wanted that when I was a kid.
Oh, I did too, and my Jehovah's Witness parents.
No, hell no. Never.
If I mentioned something like that, they would squash that, and you would be penalized for even if they even perceived that you secretly liked G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah.
Punished.
And I used to wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and sneak out and turn on our black and white TV.
I got to sneak a few episodes of G.I. Joe over the years, and it was like heart pounding, like the danger of it.
Oh, I know. I remember like looking around like, oh, I hope I don't get caught with this. But you know what? Knowing's half the battle, and I wouldn't have known that otherwise. Well, I'm gonna go and take a whole bunch of Dexatrim. So, all
right, man. Mix it with rosebitasm.
Guys, thank you for being along tonight. Just kind of fun hanging out and
do it again.
Watch creepy stuff and some 80s cartoons.
Let's do it again. Let's keep this party going.
All right,
48-hour broadcast.
Yeah, we'll do that. Why not?
Lock and load. Get to the chopper.
All right, you guys take it easy.